Da-da-da-da-da-da. Magic!
Games are the things.
On to red. The first card is, well, this is my favourite of the Delirium cards, is Gibbering Fiend, which is a devil. For 1 and a red for a 2/1. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And at the beginning of each upkeep, if you have Delirium, it deals 1 damage to that player on their opponent's upkeep. It's great. Many great. You want to be aggro, so this is a 2/1 for 2 that deals 1 damage when it comes into play to them. And then if you end up with Delirium later in the game, this keeps dealing them damage every turn.
One thing to keep in mind with this, it may be worse when you are not on the draw. I mean, when you're not on the play. Them having the ability to drop down a 2/3 on turn 3, and this doesn't have haste, it can really stall it out and just make it do nothing. Yeah. So this could be the type of card, after seeing your opponent's deck, you might want to take this out and replace it with something that might be a bit more helpful.
Yeah, it depends. Like, if you're really aggressive, this card's still going to be good. And if you can enable Delirium and be aggressive, there's no reason you could ever possibly think of not to play this card. Because even if you get stalled out on this, but then you enable Delirium, you're probably going to get through 3 or 4 damage.
The problem I see with that is the aggro deck is going to have a lot less things that aren't creatures. Yeah. So I feel like it's going to be a lot harder to do Delirium in aggro.
Yeah. Next card is Kessig Forge Master, which is 1 and a red for another 2/1. Whenever this blocks or becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to that creature. It's the first of our werewolves as well. At the beginning of each card you keep, it has, if no spells were cast last turn, you transform it. It becomes a 3/2, and when it gets blocked or becomes blocked, it deals 2 damage instead of the 1. And then also, if there was 2 or more spells cast last turn, it transforms back. This card is excellent. Much good. Makes combat really difficult. Essentially, it deals an extra damage whenever it gets blocked, and it deals it before damage, even before first strike or double strike. So, it's good.
It's very rare that this won't trade, especially when it gets to the werewolf side as well.
Yeah, it's very rare where this won't trade or this won't force them not to block. It's hard to block this card. It will get through a board stall just because they're like, well, I can't trade off my 2/3 for this. I want this for whatever reason or whatever it is. It's good. I like it. Play it. Do the things. Next card is a very, very interesting aura. It's 1 red mana for an enchant creature. Enchant creature attacks each combat if able. When an enchanted creature dies, return Skin Invasion, which is the card, to the battlefield transformed under your control. And when it returns, it is a 3/4 insect horror. So essentially, this allows you to get around people who have blockers, and when you eventually kill that blocker, it becomes a 3/4. Value. Even more ridiculous is you could play this on a, say, a 2/1, and then play a Tooth Collector, kill their 2/1, and get a 3/4.
And including mythics and rares, there are only 25 cards that would be able to kill the 3/4.
Yeah.
Without assistance from another card.
Yeah.
24 creatures.
Yeah. 24 creatures.
Yeah.
25 creatures.
25 creatures.
You can play this, and even if you never ever get it flipped, it essentially allows you to take care of a problematic blocker. Yeah. So they have like a 1/4 or 1/3 or something that you can't get through with your dudes. You play this, it has to attack you for 1, and you're swinging back for 3 or 4. You're winning the race. Yeah. And if you eventually get around to killing it, or for some reason you block and kill it, you get all upside.
The making a creature attack each turn is a downside, but not if you're an aggro deck, because you should be doing that anyway.
So you can enchant your own dude if you really need to. It's good. Our next card is Geistblast, which is one of the uncommon enemy coloured cards. It's 2 and a red. An instant deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Then, once it's in your graveyard, you can pay 2 and a blue to exile it from your graveyard, and you can copy target instant or sorcery spell you control, and you may choose new targets for that copy. This card is excellent if you have lots of instants and sorceries. It's playable if you don't have something you want to copy, and it's excellent if you do have something you want to copy. Dealing 2 damage to target creature or player means it's versatile. You'll kill a thing, or you'll hit them if you really desperately need to get that extra 2 damage in. and then the ability to copy something once it's in your graveyard without having it in your hand, essentially giving it pseudo flashback with a different ability. It's just all upside at that point.
Essentially, you want to play this, and then next turn you want to discard a Fiery Impulse and copy it.
Oh, even better.
And play 2 Fiery Impulses for 4 mana. And
Or
that's
Lightning
just the
Axes.
dream. Or Lightning Axe.
If
Do you have to
spare
pay
lands.
the...
I'm assuming you
additional
would
cost?
still have to pay the
No,
additional cost.
when you copy a spell, you don't have to pay the cost. So
Even
you
better.
wouldn't have to discard. You could play Lightning Axe, discard a Fiery Impulse, and copy it with this. You could get 2 Lightning Axes and a Fiery Impulse for a total
red,
of
blue,
4 mana.
2 generic,
5
and
mana,
discarding your spare land, and you just deal 10 damage. That's beast.
Yeah, 5 mana.
plus the Fiery Impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
13
Like-
damage.
13 damage, you
With 4
just
mana.
wipe them out.
And plus you play this, so
5
that's
mana.
that's
5 mana.
2 damage before that as well.
Also, then you get 3 instants of sorceries in your graveyard, and then you play that other card that gives you a bunch of zombies, and voila!
So what we're saying is burn is just straight to the face.
Good
play.
I wonder if we'll come across Burn as, like, not an archetype, but, some dude that's just like,
Guy's just got like...
I
Some
doubt
guy just drafts a bunch of discard outlights and like 6 different fiery tempers. And he's just like, I am actually planning to take this, give this all to your face. Anyway.
I highly doubt that
That's
is
a
going to happen
possibility.
in
No.
limited.
I'll
Magic
try.
Christmas learn that one.
Yeah. Next on our list is Spiteful Motives. There seems to be a big play on decent enchantments, in particular decent auras. Auras tend to be bad because they end up 2 for 1ing yourself. You play an aura and your dude's better, then they kill your dude and you've lost 2 cards. And they've lost 1. You feel sad. Auras tend to be unplayable. They tend to be better when they either come back or they do something ridiculously good. This particular Spiteful Motives, it has flash, which means you can play it like a combat trick, which makes up for the fact that you might end up losing out. Because it has flash, you can play it in the middle of combat, win that combat as a result, and it's just better. Anyway, it's 3 in a red, gives your dude 3+0+, and first strike, and as I said, it has flash. Because it sticks around, you can get some more damage in later.
So you play that on a 3/3
You suddenly have a 6/3.
and block their, 5/4. Kill their 5/4, and then next turn you're attacking with a 6/3 first striker.
It seems good.
That's a mean creature.
It's a mean creature.
The flash is what makes it good.
Yeah. If
It
without
would
flash,
be-
this card would basically almost unplayable. 'Cause
I would
you-
never play it if it had flash. If
Yeah.
it didn't have flash.
But
Even
with
at
flash, because
3
you can
mana.
use it essentially as removal as a combat trick. you'll-
This could be really good as well. Again, talking about this aggro deck. In an aggro deck in board stalls, having one of these in there, you don't have that big bombing creature. You can chuck this on anything and it becomes the bombing creature.
Yeah.
First strike, plus whatever its original toughness, +3. It's pretty good.
Next on our list is Malevolent Whispers, which is the threatened card for the set. But it's 3 and a red. Sorcery, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gets 2+0+, and gains haste until end of turn. The thing that makes this card excellent is it has madness for 3 and a red, so the same cost. On its own, you might be able to use this to take away one of their blockers, attack them back for 6 or so extra, which can win you the game because of the buff. But if you madness this out when they're attacking you, it's just great.
That's 2 cards you can take away from them.
Yeah.
Essentially at the price of discarding this. And you would have got something good for discarding it normally as well.
So
So if you discard it, it's essentially turn against from the previous set, but with upside.
cheaper, and it gives a buff. And
Yeah.
It untaps the dude as well. So even if they've attacked with it already, you can steal it and then make it a blocker.
I really like this next card.
Next card is Village Messenger, which is 1 red for a 1/1 with haste. It's a werewolf, and so at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast, it transforms into a 2/2 with menace. So you can, if you have no 2 play or they have no 1 play, have a 2/2 with haste. Because it's each upkeep. If you manage to put this out on turn 1, you will almost always get a 2/2 with menace.
Yes.
You get through for 1 and then you'll get through for 2 the next turn because it's almost impossible for them to have had anything decent on their turn.
Very, very rarely does something get played on turn 1.
Yeah.
The downside of this is later in the game, because you're the aggressive deck playing multiple creatures and going wide later on because you don't have many big creatures, you're essentially flipping it back to a 1/1, which makes it a lot less good. But then again, a 2/2 in turn 5 isn't that great anyway.
Later on in the game, you mean you play your land, you pass, you draw your card, and it's this card. I'm ticked off. If I draw this in my first draw step, I'm ticked off because it's useless after turn 1. You don't want to be playing it.
No.
There is anything else that you would much rather be playing. So I don't like it.
Aggressive decks only is my opinion.
Yeah. It won't be that bad in Limited even as a later play because it has Menace when it's flipped.
But flipping it.
Yeah. Flipping it will be hard. Flipping it will be really, really easy on turn 1.
Actually, is there something that stops cards from flipping? Maybe
Flipping
that
back?
could be worth putting on top of it.
Yeah.
And then it would stop it from flipping back.
Yeah, no. So there's nothing that allows you to flip it back.
There is plenty of better creatures that you would want to put that on.
Yeah, there's nothing that prevents it from flipping that's not going to stop it from attacking as well. Ulrich's Kindred is 2 and a red for a 3/2. It's a wolf with trample. Now, those are good stats. 2 and a red for a 3/2 with trample. Something people like. It's a very good aggressive card. It also has a sweet ability, which is 3 and a green. Target attacking wolf or werewolf gains indestructible until end of turn.
Fantastic card.
Fantastic card. The stats by itself is good, and it's all upside after that. If you manage to be able to get the trigger. Because the trigger is so expensive, though, if somebody walks into it, as in like you attack with something and they offer up a trade or something like that, and you can activate the indestructible, you've got to understand that they're probably holding back a removal spell.
Yeah.
You're going to give it indestructible, and in response, they're going to kill it. Yeah. Or they're going to buff their dude.
And I feel the ability is going to be better off in board stalls, which is not a bad thing. It's good to have cards that do this.
Yeah.
So,
it's a late game mana sink, and it's useful.
Yeah.
If you feel like they're trying to play around it or they have removal, one of the tricks that you can do is you can, before you do it, go to attacks. Like you can declare attacks before blockers, you can give it indestructible. So that they can't elect for the blocks and then see what you do.
Yeah.
But it'll be really difficult to ensure. If they're trying to play around it, they will be able to play around it. It's not one of those things that's definitive. They will be able to get around the ability. Next on our card is something that's being pinged to make good ways and constructed for standard. Is Incorrigible Youths, which is what is that? There's a Thundering Giant. It's Thundering Giant with Madness for 2 and a red. Thundering Giant is an okay card. So Thundering Giant being 3 red for a 4/3 with haste. With Madness, it's 2 and a red. At 2 and a red, this card is insane. 4/3 for 2 and a red makes it sweet. If you can Madness this card out, it's excellent. If you can't Madness it out, it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Very aggressive card. You don't really ever want to be playing this in anything but an aggressive deck.
No. Although in saying that, the 4 toughness and the 3 power can still have a good effect.
It's 4 power and 3 toughness, but that's fine.
In that case, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's no good.
Good card.
Fantastic card. If you play an Air of Falcon Wrath on turn 2, and then you play that card, it's 7 damage.
Yeah.
And your chances are your opponent's just going to sit there and say, take 7, shrug their shoulders.
There's not much you can do.
Go to game 2.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I'm sorry?
Do you have a Fiery Impulse in your hand? Okay, I will concede.
I can see that. Now we have another reprint from the original Innistrad, Mad Prophet, which is 3 and a red for a 2/2 with haste, and it also has Rummaging, is what the ability is called. So you tap, discard a card, draw a card. So essentially this is a sweet Madness enabler. It also filters your deck. It has haste, which I'm not sure how relevant that will be in terms of the ability or attacking, because it's a 2/2 for 4. Having haste might not actually be that great, but it'd be useful to be able to get in that extra 2 points of damage if they happen to have attacked you back. But the real big ability on this is the ability to discard a card, draw a card.
To be honest, it's worse that it's 4 mana and has haste rather than 3 mana and doesn't have haste.
Yeah.
Because it means that you have to play it on that turn. You can discard as soon as you play it, but you don't have mana to
You didn't do anything. So.
do anything with
Then you have to play it later as well.
Yeah.
I guess that's a benefit. The later in the game, it still has more playability. It's not like, I have to wait a turn to start using it. You can be like, turn 7, put it down, tap it, Fiery Impulse, or something else.
On that, in case you want to look at the art, the guy has a mouth coming out of his ear.
What?
He has a mouth coming out of his ear.
Can confirm mouth and ear.
Yeah, there's a mouth in his ear. There's a whole bunch of the art. Like, most of the time when you look at it at face value, it doesn't actually look that weird. But when you under close inspection, they have like some tentacles, or their fingers are all bent out in different directions.
Emrakul confirmed.
I'm actually worried about that. I haven't had enough.
Yeah,
Eldrazi for a
I'm
while.
done with Eldrazi.
If it was a new Eldrazi, that I might feel more okay with that.
No, I don't want any more of
A
it.
new
still-
Eldrazi that did something that wasn't colourless.
Yeah.
So an Eldrazi that's not an
gives
Eldrazi.
everything madness.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Man, this is my favourite mechanic ever.
really?
Yeah, pretty much. I love it.
It's pretty sweet. Like, I don't think I can think of a better mechanic off the top of my head, but it's good. Suspend is pretty sweet.
Yeah, suspenseful. What else are we doing? What's the next one?
Next
Breakneck
card,
Riders.
Breakneck Rider. Now, this is a 3-mana 3/3. One double red for a 3/3. It's a human scout werewolf, and it has the werewolf ability, so it transforms if there was no spells cast that turn. It becomes a 4/3, which is called Neckbreaker. I like the name change. Breakneck Rider to Neckbreaker. It also looks like he murders his horse. So if you're into horses, you might not want to play this card. When it's transformed, it is insane. So it's a 4/3 when it's transformed. Attacking creatures you control get 1+0+, and have trample. So if you manage to transform this card, you're going to be swinging back for a lot of damage. It swings back for 5 on its own. This card is like 3-mana 3/3 is a card you want to be playing unlimited. That's great. Those are good stats. And then 4/3 with a buff for your whole team is just great.
Even better.
This card is excellent. This card is better than all of the generic rays.
I wonder if this is good enough for constructed. I know we're talking about limited, but good enough for constructed in the fact that it could be like a turf copper in like an mono red aggro deck.
Yeah, no, I
'Cause
would. I would try
flips-
it. No questions.
If it flips, then you're kind of buffing up those smaller creatures.
A turf coffer or a curved topper?
Curve topper.
One of the things to remember.
I just had to point that out. Sorry.
Well, thank you, Savage.
In constructed, there's another 3-mana werewolf that once it's transformed, it allows you to enter all of your transformed creatures. Like all your werewolves come to play, you can elect to have them transform straight away. So you can play this for 3 mana and get it as a 4/3 with the buff. So
That's pretty gross.
that is real gross. In constructed, I feel like there will be a serious werewolf deck, and it will play this card, and we will cry.
And it's even got a great planeswalker to go with it.
It does have a great
it does.
planeswalker. Next is another sweet reprint. Red removal is where it's at, people. The only thing that can make this card better is if it hit the face, but if it hit the face, this would be this card would be banned, man.
I am currently rolling my eyes.
Yeah.
These red planeswalkers over here, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's Lightning Axe. Lightning Axe costs 1 red mana. As an additional cost to cast Lightning Axe, you can either discard a card or pay 5. You want to discard a card, and Lightning Axe deals 5 damage to target creature. Yeah, this card is great. If you can madness something with this, the world will end for your opponent. If you can't madness something with this, the world will probably keep going, but they're going to be sad.
Actually, we actually made a mistake before, and I feel like we should bring it up now.
Yeah.
That we were pointing out that you could like double lightning axe and do
Yeah, I didn't know what you guys were thinking you were doing, but
Yeah,
I know what's going on.
we play white spells. So
Yeah.
I think we can be
This card,
excused on this one.
if Lightning Axe could hit the face, it would be a 4 of in every burn deck.
Very true.
Because you just hold Lightning Axe, then you pitch some card you didn't care about, some land that you drew, and deal them 5 for 1 mana. Like, that card is great. Expect to see your cards played and Lightning Axed, and all cry. Okay, Lightning Axe is something you
We
need
play
to
white spells.
Yeah, red spells, people.
White for life.
Next is probably my least favorite card in the whole set. We wanted to bring this up because this card is the definition of mediocre. It's like they were like, hey, how about we print a bad card that flips into a reasonable card? It's a bad card, don't play it. Card is Convicted Killer, 2 and red for a 2/2. Has no important abilities except for the fact that it has the Werewolf ability, so if you haven't played any spells, or someone hasn't played any spells for that turn, it flips, and it becomes a 4/4. So a 4/4 for 3 is great. The problem is, this is going to be a 3/3, a 2/2 for 3, more than 50% of the time.
A lot more.
The
problem is with this, people play spells.
Yeah. If you're essentially, this card says if you are behind or they are really behind, it will be better. At no point is that like if you're not playing spells and you flip this to a 4/4, it's not that great a buff that it's worth having not played spells.
The one thing working
And if
in
your
this
opponent's
card's
not playing-
favour though,
Yeah.
in the board stall, it becomes a 4/4. They draw a land. They're not playing a spell.
Yeah.
The next turn, they're drawing a single card. They can't play 2.
This card
So-
is trying to pretend it's aggressive, but it's not.
It's not. This is like the board stall thing. Maybe out the sideboard, but there's probably better options for that. Like this seems to be the card that, you know, okay, you get it towards the end. You haven't got anything that's going to get you through the board stall. Might be worth bringing in if you haven't got something else. That's a big if. You should have got something else if you've been able to draft properly.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I dislike this card immensely. I'm not a fan.
I don't like it either.
I saw it and I was like, why does this card exist? Why couldn't they have printed a decent card? But hey, there was a card they printed recently, which is 2 mana 2/2, and it died, it dealt you 2 damage. Like, who thought that was a good idea?
Everyone.
That was funny.
I hated that card so much. It's like, let's play this really aggressive card, but it's not aggressive. It's all downside.
When I first started, I played that card, and I thought it dealt the opponent damage,
Oh,
and I was
God.
like, and you take 2, and they were like, no, that's you. What? Oh. Well, this card's crap.
Yeah, that card was so bad. Anyway, I don't even know what it's called. That's how bad it is. Next card is Dance with Devils.
Love it.
Yeah, love this card. It's 4 mana for an instant, 3 and red. You put 2 1/1 devil creatures into play. They have, whenever this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. This is good. Very good. These are good. These tokens are good in all situations. They're good when you're behind, they're good when you're ahead. They do all the things. These are good tokens. There's a rare version of this, which is 6 mana and sorcery, and you get 4 of them. And if you played that, there's very few situations you can't get out of with 4 1/1s that deal 1 when they die.
Yeah, and this is an instant too. So
Yeah, this is an instant which allows you to ambush your opponent with it. You could essentially use this as a removal spell if you wanted to. You could have them attack with a 4/4, you pay 4, you put 2 dudes in, you block, and then you deal the damage.
It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. Sadness for them. Great card.
also,
I really wanted there to be more cards that made these devil tokens, but there wasn't. There was only 2.
it's possible in the next set.
Yeah, hopefully
Few
there's
more.
more of them in the next set.
Also, with what was it called? Call the Bloodline.
Yeah.
You play these, and then next turn you sacrifice them, and make 2 1/1s with lifelink that have also flying.
Yeah, no, so the Call the Bloodline is
Yeah.
discard card, not second thing.
Not
It's
second thing. What's
it's the vampire aristocrat dude. Whatever his name is.
Whatever. Put 2 1/1 counters on each vampire you control,
Yeah, kill him.
and deal 2 damage to something.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good deal.
Next
Gatherer
card
is
is
dying.
Dual Shot. It's 1 mana to deal 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. People have said that this could be used in Constructed instead of Forked Bolt. The only reason you would consider this over Forked Bolt is because it is instant, not sorcery. Forked Bolt is a sorcery. This can't hit players, which is a downside, but the upside is that you can kill it on their turn. So, I like this card. I'm not sure how useful it'll actually be. This card will probably end up being a sideboard card rather than a main deck card because there's not actually that many cards that you want to be playing against in all situations that will have 1 toughness. Like if you're playing against the blue deck, it'll be dead. It'll be a dead card. So, it might be okay. I would keep it in the sideboard against cards like aggressive decks or decks with a lot of 1/1 flyers.
I feel this is a card that's going to end up kind of working out how good it is later on in the format.
Yeah.
If the tokens are important, then it's going to be awesome. Otherwise, I feel like it's pretty crap.
Yeah. It's good. I like it. I would actually play this probably over Forked Bolt. Forked Bolt does the same thing. Deals 2 damage divided as you choose between any number of creatures or players, so you can use it as a shock, essentially. Or you can split it 1 for a creature and 1 for the player. But that is a sorcery, not an instant. This is better on the fact that you can do it in their end step if they have haste or something, and allows you to keep up mana for counter.
Can Forked Bolt allow you to put the 2 on the 1 creature, or does it have to be separate creatures?
It doesn't have to be separate.
Essentially, that gives Forked Bolt a little bit of an up, because you can't do that.
Forked Bolt is up because you can hit something with 2 toughness.
Yeah.
But this is up because it's instant, and you essentially in Modern you want to be playing everything at instant speed. If you're not playing at instant speed, it has to be incredibly good. I'd probably play this over it because you want to be holding mana open for a counterspell, probably in a control deck, so Grixis control. You hold open, or Grixis or Jeskai control. You hold open mana for a counterspell. They don't counterspell, you kill 2 of their dudes, or 1 of their dudes, and move on. It's good. Next card is Fiery Temper, which we've mentioned several times already. It is the Madness Bolt. Madness Lightning Bolt. So it's 1 red to deal 3 damage to target creature or player for an instant, and you can madness it out for 1 red mana. Great card. Even if you can't madness this card, you should still include it. It's a removal spell. It deals damage to players. You can occasionally madness it out for 1 red mana.
So I was listening to Luis Scott Vargas, and he likes to give things nicknames, and he just said, so this next card is called Build Your Own Bolt. Because with a little bit of work, it is legitimately just a lightning bolt. And yeah, it's a fantastic card. Lightning Bolt is too good for any current format, so play it.
Yeah, no. I'm looking forward to killing many things with this. I love the fact that this is a common, not an uncommon or something stupid like that. So that you could draft multiple copies of it. Oh, God, I'm going to love it. The only problem is, it seems so good that everyone else will draft it, which will make it real sad.
You have been waiting for this moment for a Lightning Bolt to be in Standard.
I have been. I've wanted a decent Lightning Bolt. I want a Lightning Bolt. You know what? I would like a Lightning Bolt with upside.
That's just getting greedy, mate.
Yeah. And they've recently printed a bunch of 3 damage spells that are way overcosted that have a little upside on them. So it's a sorcery, deals 3 damage, it costs 4 mana, but you get to scry 1. You can print that at sorcery at 1 mana.
You don't have to be salty about all this.
Sweet would that be?
No.
Yeah. It would just be too good. But hey, too good is where I
Then they would also be making 2 mana 3/4s.
And 1 mana exile spells with no downside.
1 mana exile spells with no downside,
So it's a pleasure.
Anyway, next card is Pyre Hound. This is one of the key cards for that blue-red instant sorcery card deck that we've been talking about. Whether or not it will come together in a draft is yet to be seen. It's an I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be something you can do. But if it is something you can do, this is the card that you want. It's a 2/3 with trample for 4 mana, so 3 and a red. And each time you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this gets 1+1+ counter on it. This card is great if you get 1 instant or sorcery. Just 1, this card is good. Very good. 2, excellent. 3, well, what are you going to do? You're just going to die to this now. If you happen to draft 3 of these and a bunch of removal, I don't see how this is a bad card.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I want to call it Pyre Hound. Just because if you haven't built your deck properly, your deck's going to be so chunky.
Oh, man. What?
It's true.
One of the upsides of this card is it's not bad air multiples. You play 2 of these, they still get, both of them get counters when you play an instant or sorcery, so it's good. It is good. One of the interesting combat tricks in this set is Uncaged Fury. So it's an instant, 2 and a red, gives you dude 1+1+, and double strike. Well, it gives target creature, so you can give any if you feel like targeting their dude, whatever. Double Strike is a huge swing. 1+1+ and Double Strike is looking at somewhere between 4 to 6, 8 extra damage. Probably 4 to 8 extra damage off the Double Strike and the 1+1+. This can kill, this can end games from a high life total.
Yeah.
But I feel this is the type of card where it's like a trap, but not really. It's a good card, but at the same time, you want your combat tricks to be a lot cheaper. You don't want to be sitting there, play some 2-mana creature and hold 3 mana up on turn 5. That just seems counterproductive.
Yeah.
So, it can be good, and I feel it's the type of card that you will lose to. I feel,
It's like a finisher.
Yeah.
It's not good for really a combat trick.
No.
It's just, you don't block my dude, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. Speaking about, this isn't even Magical Christmas Time because this is a common and so is Pyre Hound.
Yeah.
This plus Pyre Hound is a beating.
Chunky.
Chunky because you play Pyre Hound on turn 4, turn 5, you attack them with Pyre Hound and they're like, well, it's a 2/3, whatever. They might elect to block it and then you cast this, it gets a 1+1+ counter, goes to 3/4, then it gets +1/+1, goes to 4/5, gets Double Strike, and it already has Trample. So you're going through for 8 damage. Even if they haven't blocked, you just hit them for 8. And if they have blocked, you go through for 8.
Yeah. I see the use. I do agree. It feels more like a finisher than a combat trick.
Yeah.
But I know. I'm not sold on it. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
I'll probably get beaten to it a few times and still
Then
not change
try
my mind.
I think this is the last card. It is Voldaran Duelist for our red set. It's 3 and a red for a 3/2 with haste, which isn't actually that bad. But when it comes into the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. This is a card that will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the haste ability, it's coming through for 3. You're gonna you've probably, if they're on the play and this is their 4-drop, you're in trouble. They've got a 2 and a 3-drop. You might have swung back because they left themselves open, and they come through and kill you.
This after Incorrigible Youths and Hereford would that game over.
So they finally get to play a creature, and then you play this, and they can't block with their creature, and then they're taking 10.
Yeah, they're dead.
They literally have 3 life.
Yeah, you've ended them.
Yeah.
This is card
on turn 4.
Yeah, on turn 4. I am looking forward to playing with this card a lot. This is a real draw towards playing red. This card.
Yeah.
It's good.
This madness